Let everybody know we are recording, and we'll send this recording out. Welcome. I'm so glad y'all are all here. My name is Haley Brazier, and I am one of the program officers here at Central Carolina Community Foundation. If y'all have any questions over the course of our talk, we will have a time at the end of it for questions, but also if you want to pop any into the chat, we do have Aaliyah monitoring the chat, and she can lift some up or answer directly in the chat as well, if that comes to it. You're also welcome to introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know your name and what organization you're with. And then that way, if y'all want to chat with each other too, you are welcome to do so as well. This is actually our final training in preparation for Midlands Gives Day on May 7th. We do have our trainings, recordings of all of our other trainings, a toolkit, strategy workbook, all kinds of stuff located in our resource hub on the Midlands Gives page. I'm going to drop that in a link to that into the chat. Let me pull up my chat real quick. There we go. So I'm going to be, I'll put some links in the chat whenever I stop talking. Here we go, resource for y'all to be able to have that information on hand. As you all may know, early giving started yesterday, and I just checked our numbers already on day 2, and we have donations of more than 57,000 for 144 organizations. So people have really hit the ground running for Midlands Gives season. We're excited to see that. After early giving started yesterday, the fundraising pages feature opened up in Neon One on the Midlands Gives platform, so that your supporters can set up a fundraiser for their own social media network, so that those folks can donate straight to your Midlands Gives profile. So we know that this peer-to-peer fundraising strategy has been super effective for many organizations, and so we wanted to provide some guidance on how to best use this feature, and that's the purpose of today's trainings. We also have some prizes this year associated with early giving and with fundraising pages. I'm going to drop our link to our prizes page in the chat as well, so that you can take a look at what some of those prizes are. One in particular I wanted to lift up was the Dominion Energy Fundraising Page Powerhouse Prize. Try to say that 5 times fast. This is $1,000 to 13 organizations, so $13,000 total. It will be awarded to 4 small organizations, 4 medium, 4 large, and 1 of any size budget. And this is randomly selected from organizations with fundraising pages that secure at least 3 donations between April 1st and May 7th. So there is a prize specifically for this. We also have a prize for board engagement, and we'll talk a little bit more today about how fundraising pages is a great way to engage your board. So to go ahead and get started, I would like to introduce Matthew Allen. He is a seasoned expert in Giving Day initiatives with a wealth of experience in fundraising strategies and program management. Matthew has been a pivotal figure in the success of North Texas Giving Day since 2015, driving unprecedented growth and innovation in the program. Throughout his tenure at the Communities Foundation of Texas, Matthew's visionary leadership consistently broke national records, establishing North Texas Giving Day as the nation's largest giving day for the past 10 years. Now, as a nonprofit capacity building consultant, Matthew brings his wealth of experience to empower organizations. He helps nonprofits strengthen their fundraising efforts using proven strategies, modern technology, and efficient operations. So, Matthew, take it away.
Yeah, great, Haley. Thank you so much for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being with us today. Okay. This is intended to be an interactive training on fundraising pages. However, we'd like to get through the entire presentation before we actually take any verbal questions, at least, as I believe the presentation may answer some of the questions that you have along the way. But please don't hesitate to chat in your questions as they come up. And then again, we'll address those during our Q&A session at the end. So let's take a look at the general themes that we'll be talking about today. We'll start by defining what is peer-to-peer fundraising. Then we'll discuss why we should be leveraging it and who we should start with, who's our low-hanging fruit here. Then we'll dig into the nuts and bolts and figure out how we actually go about this. So what is peer-to-peer fundraising? Well, let's begin by defining what peer-to-peer fundraising is not. It's not crowdfunding. GoFundMe, Kickstarter, these are popular crowdfunding platforms. And while these platforms can certainly raise a lot of money, they do have some limitations. So fundraising on these platforms requires that people donate to a single fundraising page. So basically a person or an organization sets up a fundraising page on GoFundMe. They advertise that page to their network. It's typically done through social media. And then people donate on that page to support the cause. The limitation here is that a single person's network is only so large. So eventually you run out of people in your network to ask. Oftentimes the effort dies right there. Now you do occasionally hear of a GoFundMe page that goes viral and raises millions of dollars from thousands of people. Now, while that's most likely the hope of all GoFundMe users, it's the exception and not the rule. Otherwise, we would be having this conversation from a beach somewhere. All right, peer-to-peer fundraising addresses this limitation by encouraging each of your supporters to create their own fundraising page. This gives them the ability to tell their story about your cause and why it's important to them. You know, human beings are relational. We respond to people we know. We respond to what the people we know care about. And frankly, we respond to a good story. Peer-to-peer fundraising pages allows your supporters to fundraise on your behalf while telling their story about your work. The people you're reaching here are giving to your organization because of what their friends said about your cause. I mean, this is the true power of peer-to-peer fundraising. It's addition by multiplication. You're gaining access to networks perhaps you didn't even know existed because you've given your immediate network of supporters the power to tell their story about your work. People like to tell their story and they're inclined to promote that story to their own networks, and then people are inclined to give to people they know. But specifically, how does the technology work? What are these fundraising pages specifically? Well, these pages are personalized giving pages that are housed on the Midlands Gives website, and they're connected to your organization's profile. So each gift given to one of these fundraising pages is a gift given to your organization. Now, while the fundraising page owner can track the gifts coming into their page, the actual dollars raised go to your organization and they're counted towards your Midlands Gives campaign. You can see here an example on the slide of a great fundraising page for Emma's diaper. What an adorable picture she selected here. Someone understands the power of babies and puppies in marketing. And we'll dig into more page construction here in just a minute. But what are specifically the benefits of fundraising pages? I think one of the greatest challenges that most nonprofits face is how to grow their donor base. It's not easy, right? Traditional marketing methods are costly. They require expertise that many of us don't have, and they often produce few measurable results. Well, fundraising pages addresses this issue by creating an easy-to-use tool that leverages people's existing networks. It's a cost-efficient way to expand your donor base to individuals you couldn't access otherwise. Now, unfortunately, not everyone who comes into contact with a fundraising page is going to make a gift. However, even those who choose not to make a gift, they learn a little bit about your organization. More importantly, they learned about the impact your organization had on someone that's in their network. That's powerful marketing, and it costs you nothing. A seed was planted in someone's mind, and who knows what the future holds, but maybe at some point that person is converted to a donor, and it's all because they first heard of your org through a fundraising page. Fundraising pages represent a fun and easy way to deepen your relationship with your supporters. Gives you a different touch point with your supporters. You know, they're used to you asking for donations and volunteer help. Now you're out to help you fundraise and to get the word out in a fun way. Okay, but let's be realistic. It's not all great news, is it? There's got to be some limitations and misconceptions here. So let's talk about some of those. Now, in my experience, there's really only one primary limitation to these pages. Fundraising pages generally bring in smaller gifts. Think about it. The power here is in expanding your reach to people who don't have a relationship with your organization. Perhaps they've never even heard of your organization. And remember, they are likely responding to their friends' call to action, not necessarily your call to action. So it stands to reason that they want to date you before they marry you. And in fundraising page lingo, this means lots of gifts under $100. In North Texas Giving Day last year, fundraising pages raised on average about $660 each. But remember, this is more about expanding your reach in hopes that your future stewardship of these new donors will turn them into bona fide super fans who give you more of their wallet share. Don't look to this technology to close your budget gap. Set realistic expectations and do the work of stewardship on the back end to realize the full benefit of your donor base expansion. Now, there's several common misconceptions about fundraising pages, so let's address a few of those. The one I hear most often is it's not necessarily an effective fundraising method. I challenge this by referring back to the limitation we just discussed on the previous slide. Remember, these pages raise on average $660 each. Let's take that example from North Texas. Imagine having just 3 of these pages. I mean, that's nearly $2,000 in the bank. And all it took from you was some communication to convince your network to do the work of creating and promoting a page. Now imagine for a second securing 5 of those, or 10 or 15. For instance, through last year's Midlands Gives campaign, Happy Wheels leveraged this technology in a big way. They managed to activate 44 fundraising pages. Now, each of those pages raised on average less than $500. Not all that impressive, right? But compounded together, that totaled nearly $20,000 for Happy Wheels. So I'd say Happy Wheels understands the benefit of this technology. The possibilities here can be endless. Now, please understand, fundraising pages are not meant to completely replace your Midlands Gives campaign. They should simply augment your campaign efforts. Continue to activate the marketing and promotion you're already doing for Midlands Gives. Just add this simple piece to it. Now, some of you might be thinking that this technology might be confusing to your networks. Well, the technology, it turns out, is not all that new. It's been used in races and walkathons for many years. More than likely, your supporters are familiar with the concept already. Not to mention, it's a 5-step process to set up a page. Again, we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, what if your support network is older and they like to write checks instead of giving online? Therefore, they're probably not inclined to set up an online fundraising page. So the Pew Research Center found that 3 out of every 4 adults aged 50 or older use social media on a regular basis. This group is already online. And I bet you'll find that they're more receptive to this than you think, especially once you explain how simple and easy it is to set up. All right, say you're a small organization, you have a small network of supporters. Remember the entire point here, this is a donor acquisition tool, and it's easy. Start with your staff and your board. We'll dig into that in a second. Ask them to start the fire ablaze for your organization. Start building that network today. And then some of you are concerned about losing control of your messaging. Yes, you will need to get comfortable with this ask, with this risk. Fundraising pages encourage your supporters to use their own words to describe your organization. That's exactly what makes this an effective tool. They aren't using your boilerplate. They're doing their own storytelling. And guess what? I mean, they're doing this already. They talk about your organization to friends at dinner, at the kids' ball games. You're just encouraging them to leverage the full power of their social media to say the same things about your organization to a larger audience. Lean in, trust your supporters, and unleash them to get the word out. So as you can see, the risk here for fundraising pages is low, but the potential benefits can be very high. Specifically, who can create fundraising pages? Well, everyone. This technology is non-discriminating. It's available to one and all. However, let's take a look at a few groups of people who are already in your network and discuss how you can influence them to create and promote a fundraising page. Start with your captive audience. Many of you have staff members. Ask them to create a fundraising page for your organization. They clearly believe in your mission, and each of them has their own network of people outside of your office. Why not ask them to help you get the word out to their networks? You may even consider incentivizing them to participate by way of a competition. People love competitions, and no one wants to be the odd person out, the only staff member to have not participated in a competition. So it could look something like this. Let's say a staff member who receives the most donations on their fundraising page receives a free PTO day or half a PTO day. Now, as an employer, this costs you nothing by way of hard dollars, and it can go a long way in creating excitement and buy-in amongst your staff. And I bet you'll find it's a positive culture builder as well. Okay, who here struggles to get your board engaged in your work? Just kidding, don't raise your hands. I would never put you on record as having answered that. But I'm sure we can all agree that most nonprofits struggle to get their board engaged in their work, especially when it comes to fundraising. You know, fundraising is difficult work. It's a long play, it takes patience and planning and perseverance, and there's seldom immediate gratification. This is not exactly a formula that most board members enjoy participating in. And frankly, our boards often would rather delegate that task to staff. But fundraising pages removes these hurdles. And when positioned correctly, it can be just the tool you need to get your board engaged in your Midlands Gives campaign. Emphasize the easy setup and low barrier to entry of these. Explain that it only takes 5 minutes and 5 easy steps to set it up and to begin promoting it. And remind them that this is a time-boxed campaign. You're asking for a short-term commitment with these pages. You can consider offering to help your board set up their own pages. You know, I've heard of nonprofits who reserve the last 20 minutes of a board meeting to help board members set up fundraising pages. You know, they'll have staff come in with laptops in hand, and a staff person sits down with each board member and walks them through their page creation and storytelling and their plan to promote the page on their networks. I would caution you, if you plan to do this, it's probably a good idea to let your board know ahead of time, put it on the agenda. Don't spring this on them and catch them off guard. You know, another board engagement idea, consider inviting your board to participate in the competition we just discussed with staff. Maybe even they could be present for the awarding of that PTO day. I think you'll find this can create some good buy-in and excitement amongst your board members. Okay, don't forget to ask your super fans to create a page. We all have them. These are long-term, consistent donors or volunteers that show up week after week. These people clearly love your mission and your organization. They already give you their time and their treasure. Why not ask them to set up a fundraising page? You know, most super fans are eager to help out in any way they can. They're just waiting to be asked. And this ask is free. You're not asking for more wallet share. You're asking for 5 extra minutes. Finally, not to put too fine a point on it, but you should create a fundraising page. You're on this call or you're watching this training as a recording. That means you have some responsibility for your Midlands Gives campaign. Lead by example, create your own fundraising page and make the first gift to that page. Others will follow your lead. Okay, we've discussed the low-hanging fruit here, people who are already in your network and primed to help you with this effort. Now, let's talk about some tactics you can employ to ensure these supporters are successful in their fundraising. Well, first and foremost, make the page creation process as easy as possible. Provide them with clear instructions for setting up their page. Again, we'll discuss those steps next. But be sure you're providing them a one-pager or a list of the 5 steps that walks them through the process. And then help them craft their story. Remember, people respond to fundraising pages because of the stories told on those pages. Help your supporters communicate why your organization is important to them and why others should join them in supporting your mission. Encourage them to create a list of their network to whom they plan to reach out and engage with through their fundraising. And then inspire them to set a goal on their page. This is an important step. Setting a goal creates motivation for people to actually activate their network. No one wants to fall short of their own goal. And provide them with a communication outline that leads up to Midlands Gives Day, along with a templated ask to their networks. Give them something simple that can fuel their creativity. You know, the ask can be something like, will you join me in supporting a cause that's near and dear to my heart? Please read about this organization and how they've impacted my life and those around me, and consider joining me in making a gift to help them continue their great work. You know, fundraisers can ask their network, of course, through social media posts, but encourage them also to do that through direct personal asks to each person on their list. Okay, so at long last, let's discuss the 5 easy steps it takes to create a fundraising page. Step 1, go to the Midlands Gives website and find your organization's profile page. It all starts on that page. Click the Create a Fundraiser button. Then log in if you already have an account. I'm betting most of your supporters probably don't already have an account, so have them click the Create Account button in the upper left. That brings us to 3, where they will enter 4 simple pieces of information to create an account: your first and last name, your email address, and a password. Click Create Profile. And that brings you to the page editor. This is a wonderful and simple tool. We'll discuss the fields on the left side in just a second, but I wanted to show you this page editor and explain that as you type the information into the fields on the left, the information displays on the right side. It's called an inline editor, and it allows you to see what your fundraising page will look like before you actually publish it. Super cool technology. It saves a lot of time going back and forth, adjusting dots and such, and making it look just right. Look at those fields on the left. This is where you begin to tell your story. You need to assign a name to your page. Mine here is Help Matt Raise Money for Community Response. You assign your page a custom URL. This is the custom link that you'll send out to your network. Then remember, set a goal. Mine here is $1,000. From here, you can upload a hero image. This is an image that displays at the top of your fundraising page. Don't worry, if you don't have an image, the system will display a default one. It's much like the starburst that you see here. It's a Midlands Gives themed image. However, I would encourage everyone to add that personal image to your page. It creates authenticity and warmth. So I encourage you to find that image and upload that. And then finally, the storytelling box. This is where you lay out why this organization is so important to you. You can tell of the impact the organization has had on you and your loved ones and the community at large. Lay out your heart here and let everybody know exactly how much you love this organization and the great work they do. And then click Save Fundraiser. Okay, the page setup is now complete. You can see here, this is my page, my hero image. These are the most important ladies in my life. My title, Help Matt Raise Money for Community Response. It's a fundraiser by Matt Allen supporting Midlands Community Response Fund. You can see my goal of $1,000. I have since made a gift on this page, but I took the screenshot before having done so. And then my story is on the left side. So my final step is to actually promote the page. I can share on Facebook and Twitter. I can grab the link and share it in emails and other vehicles. Now, remember, a fundraising page that isn't shared is basically useless. No one will see the great work that you put into the page creation if you don't share it with your network. That's the whole point. So don't leave out this step. But wait, there is but one more step. The final bonus step. Thank your donors. As a page owner, you can see who responds to your call to action and who makes a gift. Unless they choose to be anonymous, you'll see their name, their email address, and their gift amount. Reach out to them and thank them for supporting your cause. Now, as a nonprofit, you will see the gifts that come in from all of your fundraising pages. Remember, this is a donor acquisition tool. Donor acquisition is useless if you aren't willing to put in the stewardship work on the back end to cultivate that donor. Reach out to the donor, thank them for their gift, and invite them to learn more about your organization's impact in the community. So let's review those steps again. Step one, go to Midlands Gives website, find your organization's profile, click Create a Fundraiser. Step two, log in or create an account. Step three, complete your account setup, click Create Profile. Step four, tell your story and click Save Fundraiser. Step five, promote on your social channels, and then don't forget to thank your donors. Okay, so in summary, fundraising pages are addition by multiplication. They're an easy way to create excitement and find new donors and supporters. You can ask your staff, your board members, and your super fans to create a fundraising page. You can create a fundraising page yourself and make the first gift to that page. And don't forget to thank the donors who give on your page. So that brings us to our question and answer time. Haley, have we had any questions come into the chat?
We have not had any questions. Oh, we just got one. Would it be poor taste? So this is Veronica Thomas, and she asked, would it be poor taste to have one fundraiser page instead of several that all board members can share?
Poor taste? I don't think so. I would argue that it might not be as effective. Remember, the power here in these pages is that you're telling a personal story, right? It's all about storytelling. You can use your boilerplate and tell one story, but is that story going to connect with people in these second and third level networks that are seeing these pages? So I would argue that if you can convince your board members to each create their own page and tell their own story about your organization, that may net you some better results. Veronica, did that answer your question? Feel free to come off mute if you need to.
Thank you. It did give me some perspective. It's just I'm one of the younger board members, dealing with some who are super busy, things of that nature. So just trying to figure out how to, I guess, streamline it as much as I can without making it overwhelming for them, because we could, I'm thinking of other ways that we could do the several pages. We each could take an initiative, because we have several initiatives that we're going to raise money for, and that could be a way of separating and have each board member do that. So I'm just trying to figure out ways to do that, but make it very simple and easy for them to do.
Sure. Yeah, it sounds like you're on the right path for sure.
Anna M. Davis with Edgewood Foundation asked, does the money go directly to Midlands Gives from the fundraising page?
So the money actually, technically, this is a gift. Any gift made on Midlands Gives Day is a gift for tax reasons to Midlands Gives, and then Midlands Gives disperses those dollars to the nonprofit. The fundraising page owner does not take possession of any of these gifts, right? So they might own the page, but they're advertising and marketing on your behalf as the nonprofit. So if somebody makes a $10 gift to my page, that gift goes to the Midlands Community Response Fund at Midlands Gives. Does that make sense? And did that answer that question?
Yeah, that makes sense. And Anna, I just want to add, so if you raise $100 through your fundraising page, then that $100 will go to your goal, your Midlands Gives goal. So you'll see that money reflected in your total number of money raised. Donna Grooms says this is great information, helps to understand this process, and makes it easy to implement.
Great.
And Terry Tao asked, is there a direct link from fundraising page to Instagram?
I do not believe that the platform has an Instagram link. I believe Twitter and Facebook, and then the other link there is it pops up the URL, so you can copy the URL and send that. You can paste that into Instagram or into email, but I don't believe that Neon, the platform provider, has included an Instagram link, an easy link, if you will.
Terry also asked, will the fundraiser page, will the feature be available during the week that Midlands Gives is offline? So following Midlands Gives. And Chantrell may be able to answer that question.
Hi, so your fundraising pages will be available from April 1 until July 31st of this year. They will get shut off on July 31st at midnight, and on August 1, they will be, you have to create a new page, and it's for Black Philanthropy Month, because that's when we celebrate Black Philanthropy Month, and we have prizes for that around fundraising pages.
And you're also correct. This is Erin Johnson. There is a week, just so everyone knows, right when Midlands Gives ends on May 8th, no donations are accepted for a week. So yes, that would include the fundraiser pages as well. So everything, the whole site is down for about a week, and that's to be able to process those millions of dollars that you all raised, and then it'll come back up. So that does include the fundraiser pages. They will, they just won't be able to accept donations for a week.
Yes, so the site will be down May 8th to May 12th this year.
Matt, I had a question about how often folks should, an individual should share their fundraiser page, kind of what the best practices are for that. Because if you make, one Facebook post on April 1st, how many times should they kind of reshare that over the course of the month for the most effective way of getting funds?
Yeah, fantastic question, Haley. I would encourage you, we're about a month out from Midlands Gives now. So I would encourage you to share that once a week until the final week. And then use your judgment. There's a lot of social media activity in the final week before Midlands Gives campaign. But I wouldn't hesitate to jump out there and to post it every single day in that final week leading up to the campaign, and just continue, tweak the messaging a little bit each time. And I think you'll find if you include some sense of urgency, that may help people decide to respond as well. Only 2 days left. Help me reach my goal. We have a day left, or even on the day as you're reaching your goal, use that as your primary talking point and say, guys, we are so close. I'm $150 away from my goal. Help me close this goal. Kind of lean into those talking points in that messaging. Any other questions?
Veronica Thomas raised her hand for a question.
Thank you. The question my question now is I was just looking at a page that was already created, and I understand this is about the fundraising pages. I just want to know, is it possible to just share that link as well? Will that still be the same thing as the fundraising pages, where they can donate directly to the foundations or the profile page, or is that something different?
So that is something different. You can do that, and that may already be in some of your marketing plans to share the link directly to your profile page. But remember that is different than sharing the fundraising page. The fundraising page is someone else talking about your organization, right? It's their storytelling. Your profile page is the page that you guys set up as an organization. That's your boilerplate. It's polished. It's everything's great. And it's two different styles of fundraising. The sharing the link to your profile page at large is more marketing at large. Sharing fundraising pages to individuals' networks, that is more of a personal call to action, right? So it hits people differently. And especially if if your goal here is to expand your donor base and to acquire new donors, I would lean more into the fundraising page sharing to do that. Remember, I mean, it's kind of like crowdfunding, right? If you create the one page and share that out, people are less likely to then share that to their networks as well, right? Or even if they do, the further away you get from the original connection point, the less connected somebody is to your organization, and the least likely they are to actually give. However, if your network sets up their own pages, tells their own stories, people are more likely to respond to that through those fundraising pages.
And Veronica asked a follow-up question. And so Veronica asked, is that link always available? Wondering if I should link it to our website. Veronica, what link are you talking about here?
The link to the regular profile page, so I understand the difference between the fundraising and the profile. I'm coming later on board for our foundation to make sure we're good. And so I just wanted to know if that we already have a donation link that we use on our website. Do I need to add that in addition to it? That is what I'm trying to check, because we have several scholarships and grants and things that are up under our umbrella. And so if that is the overarching one, that would be great. That's always there. And so I'm just trying to think of other ideas of how to get and promote all of the things that we have going on at the same time using the fundraising pages. So that's why I was wondering.
Yeah, and I would respond to that and encourage you, yes, use your Midlands Gives profile page link on your website, especially through the campaign. Swing all the dollars you can to the Midlands Gives campaign. That would be my recommendation.
And so Aaron or Chantrell, I just want to make sure, Veronica, I think, was asking if she should link to their personal website, and we would advise against that, correct, Aaron and Chantrell?
No, I will actually tell you to link your profile on your website, just because you don't want to confuse your donors on where they should donate up to Midlands Gives Day, and especially on Midlands Gives Day, because we do have donors that come to our website as well as the yourfoundation.org website, and we have a pop-up that links people back to the Midlands Gives website. That way they'll know that all donations need to go there in order to be counted towards the big total. So I would tell you to link your profile from your website.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
I would like to share just one quick story about how I saw a fundraiser page that was used successfully, and I've kind of told some of y'all about this before. but we have, it was actually a board member who knew they were already going to be giving a certain amount during that day. And so what they did is they used their gift as a match for their fundraiser page. And so that was kind of two different ways of them really being able to leverage their friends by saying, hey, friends, this is something I care about, and I invite you to join in this movement. But I also will match all your gifts through my fundraiser page up to an X amount, however much they were planning on giving anyways. So it was a great way for them to be able to, because people love a match as well. So it was a great way for them to leverage their friends and family, but also giving them a match to help them encourage to give as well.
We did a donor focus group in North Texas about a year and a half ago, and we found out that it's no surprise to anyone here, but the number one donor motivator for North Texas Giving Day was match dollars. People love their dollars to go further, that $1 to become $2 and whatnot.
Okay, any other questions? Any last thoughts, Matthew, or any of the CCCF team? Okay, well, we're excited to get the season started for our big giving day. It started yesterday, and as a reminder, we have the Big Midlands Gives Day itself is May 7th. It's always the first Tuesday in May, which this year's a little bit later. Usually it's earlier in the week. And we also we wanted to invite everyone to our block party that we're having at Segra Park here in the Bull Street district, that will be from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. on that Midlands Gives Day on May 7th. And so it'll be kind of a big community event, and we'll have some games and prizes for folks, and also some hot dogs and stadium munchies while supplies last. But we're excited to kind of have a big in-person community event this year. So it's been a little while since we've been able to do that. So we hope to see you there at Segra Park, May 7th from 11 to 1.
Haley, before we wrap up, Callie Witt asked, didn't you mention a board engagement prize? So can you just go over that prize one more time?
Yeah, the prize itself was more in line with staff involvement. You could do a similar thing for the board. I think where I linked the two was perhaps inviting your board to participate in the awarding of whatever prize you give to staff, if that's a PTO day or whatnot. Other board engagement, you can sit down with your board members and walk them through the process. We've had a lot of success with that in North Texas. It takes some time, but particularly if you already have a board meeting scheduled, use the last part of that to accomplish that. And I think your board members will appreciate the kind of one-on-one tutorial.
And we also have a Midlands Gives prize for the nonprofits. It's the Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina Board Leadership Prize. This is similar to the other one, where it's 13 prizes totaling $13,000. So $1,000 each, randomly drawn from gifts given by board members during the early giving period. So that's April 1st through May 6th. And then the donors also have to indicate I'm a board member whenever they select that they're a donor, or whenever they fill out their donor information on there for the gift to qualify. So I encourage y'all to check out the prizes page. I think those were just finalized pretty recently. I'm going to link that again for y'all, because there's a bunch of different things. The board one, as well as the Dominion fundraiser page one that I mentioned at the start of our meeting, and I think that those are good ways to incentivize some gifts too. All righty. I don't think anything else has come in. So thank y'all so much for being here. Best wishes for y'all's campaign as we start the season. You can always reach out to Chantrell is really the leader here of Midlands Gives. The easiest way to reach her is just emailing midlandsgives@yourfoundation.org. And yeah, otherwise, if you have any questions, reach out, and otherwise have a great season and a great day.